Howdy folks, and I hope you're all fit and well wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's the turn of EXO-6's take on Kirstie Alley as Lieutenant Saavik from arguably the greatest Star Trek movie ever made. Yes folks, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, or affectionately known as TWOC amongst the fans, which means something completely different in the UK, but we won't go into that. So, usual format folks, box, accessories, figure, then showcase at the end, but worth mentioning at this point, Mr. Go Figure is fashionably late to the party with the review of this figure. Suffice it to say, that was down to some, shall we say, serious delays with the UK supplier. But you know what they say, better late than never. So, before we dive in, I'd like to send a Mutara Nebula size shout out to everyone who supported Go Figure. And please drop a like on this review as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the action figure news, views and reviews that we've got coming up. So, The Wrath of Khan, what can I say other than the best Star Trek movie ever made, in my humble opinion? After the sprawling, overly long, ponderous, but ultimately lovable first outing that was Star Trek the Motion Picture, the fans were given what they wanted with this sequel. Something intimate, something action-packed that felt more like an episode from the original series, but with a bigger budget. And what's not to love? We got the return of Khan Noonien Singh quoting Ahab from Moby Dick left, right and centre. And we got enormous space battles, and of course we got Spock's death. Yes folks, you will actually believe a grown man can cry. Just don't mention Into Darkness. But enough of my wrath reminiscing onto the box. Let's stop it from spinning and have a close-up look. And it's the usual story from EXO-6 here. Really high quality presentation and packaging. You've got this sort of magnetically clasped box. Really high quality stock card, and the presentation, regulars to the channel will know I really like EXO-6's presentation. I think it's up there with some of the best. What you've got on the front here is a shot of the figure itself, a shot of Saavik with the away jacket on there. You've got this artwork in the background. You've got SETI Alpha 5 there with Khan and his crew in the background. What looks like promotional art from the film itself. They had some very similar poster art going on for the movie, so I'm assuming they've lifted it from that. But you've got Kirk there, Spock there, and Khan behind him. You've got the Regula 1 space station here. You've got the Enterprise firing on the space station, which I'm a little bit confused about. Some artistic license there. The Enterprise never fired on Regula 1 in the movie, but we'll let them off. Running across the top, you've got this silver high gloss band running across that says Lieutenant Saavik, Regula 1 version. There are two versions of this figure. There is the Regula 1 version, and there is the Kobayashi Maru version. Some slight differences. The Regula 1 edition actually includes some extra hands, some extra accessories, including this this away jacket, but we'll cover that when we bring out the accessories. At the bottom here it says 1/6 scale museum grade figure. On the side, just a continuation of that SETI Alpha 5 scene, and Star Trek Museum replicas and collectibles in that silver foil lettering. EXO-6 on this side. On the bottom, just the usual star feel that we've come to expect on these boxes. On the top, it says EXO-6 and Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan in that lovely high gloss silver lettering there. Flip it round the back, and you've got all the usual credits and warnings going on here. Warnings down at the bottom there. Don't piss this figure off, or it might maroon you on a barren rock for all eternity. Star Trek symbol at the top there. Magnetically clasped, as I mentioned. If you flip it open, let's have a look at what's inside. Credits on the left-hand side, as always with an EXO-6 figure. Everybody involved there, including Nanjin Tam. You have a little slip cover on the inside, and this one's slightly different to the normal one. What this one just says, in the 23rd century. Brand new figure, this one, literally just come through the door, so this is the first time I've seen it. You've got a foam inlay, and you remove that foam inlay and you are greeted with the figure itself. and I'm assuming the stand is behind there. So that's the box. So without further ado, let's dive down onto the table and take a look at all the accessories that you get with your Saavik figure. So, Saavik accessories, what do you get with the figure? Well, we'll start with the hands as we always do, you know me and my strange hand thing. Open palm pair on the figure already, we'll take a look at those when we bring the figure out, and you get these 5 other hands as well. So essentially you're looking at 3 pairs and a spare, that spare being the Live Long and Prosper V Vulcan symbol. Let's take a look at this one first. I think this is exclusive to the Regula 1 edition. If I'm getting that wrong, please correct me in the comment section below. But yeah, paint and sculpt looks very, very good. You've got some nice paint applications there to give it that skin tone and texture, reddening on the knuckles there. You've got some bone detailing work going on. Not a vast amount of vein work and bone work going on here. We've got to remember Kirstie Alley's age when she played Saavik in Star Trek 2, but overall, yeah, nicely done. And one thing I did notice straight out of the box, and I'll grab another hand just to demonstrate this if I can, I noticed that the fingernails themselves are ever so slightly longer on these hands, which is really great to see. You can actually feel it if you run your finger over the end there. So they've given it slightly longer fingernails, give it that lady fingernail feel and look, which is great to see. But also did notice as well straight out of the box on this gripping hand, and it's only minor, but if the camera's picking this up, we do have some discoloration on the knuckles here and here. Now, this is only the second time I've encountered this with an EXO-6 figure straight out of the box, and the last one being the most recent one that we reviewed, which was the Bones Leonard McCoy from Star Trek the Motion Picture, which also had some discoloration on the hands. First time I've encountered this with EXO-6, or second time. Don't know whether it's a QC issue or it's something that's happened in production or in transit, but yeah, it's not a deal breaker. That can be touched up with a little bit of paint application, but overall, yeah, the sculpt of these hands is up to the usual high standard we would expect from EXO-6. And you've got gripping hands, obviously the V symbol, and you've got some fisted hands as well, all painted and sculpted very well indeed. So that's the hands. Let's pop those to one side. What accessories do you get? You get the heavy-duty tricorder that Saavik used in the movie. Designed specifically for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, apparently this one, and never seen before. Don't know whether it's been seen since, but yeah, all one piece of sculpted plastic. The accuracy, the screen accuracy looks on point there. You've got this blue paint, dark blue paint applications with some black paint applications, silver on the front there with those white dots. You've got the screen, which looks like a sticker to me. Yeah, it looks like a sticker there with that grid section and the coloured buttons at the bottom, and it's all held together with this what feels like a nylon strap, which is attached to the back of the tricorder, and that feels like metal, or at least the section going into the back of the tricorder itself feels like metal. But yeah, overall nicely done, screen accurate, well painted, and nice little accessory to have. So that's the tricorder. You also get her phaser, relatively simple this. As always, one piece of sculpted plastic, simple paint applications there. You've got that sort of that bluey grey, not quite the same colour as the tricorder. The tricorder is slightly darker, but yeah, screen accuracy's there, relatively simple, and you've got some detailing on the top there with that sort of those almost brass effect buttons and screen, and that button in the centre there as well. So that's the phaser, and you also get the communicator. Now, once again, I believe this was specifically designed for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and not seen before. All one piece of sculpted plastic, silver paint application with a flip top, and you've got those sort of that grill effect on the front there, and you flip it open and you are greeted with another grill section on the inside there, if the light's catching that, and you've got some detailing on the inside. There's that red button there and what looks like some dials and a mouthpiece and a grill section on the inside. So yeah, that's the communicator with the flip top. And let's take a look at the jacket now. Technically this is an accessory because the Kobayashi Maru figure doesn't come with it, but I mean, to me this is part of the outfit. But let's have a close-up look at this, because this is a sort of a make or break for this piece for me, because quite a unique design the away team coats, the away team outfits for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and straight away, straight out of the box, it feels and looks very, very good indeed. The colour looks on point, and I know I mentioned this before in EXO-6 reviews. Nanjin Tam is a stickler for getting the right materials and the right colours in his Star Trek figures. Now this feels like, it doesn't feel like, it feels like it's somewhere between maybe a heavy cotton or a canvas, but it feels really, really nice and sturdy. Straight away the stitch work looks super impressive, as with all EXO-6 figures. There's no loose threads hanging down, the scale is just right on that stitch work, and the colour itself, I believe the colour, I mean, I always used to call it a deep red, or a scarlet, but apparently the name for the colour is Monster Maroon, although it does come off more red to me than that, but that's its official title. But yeah, pockets on the front here with these clasps. We've got some polystyrene in there, some styrofoam in there to keep its shape. They flip down really nicely. The front of the jacket itself, you've got that Starfleet symbol on that section, which is done in plastic, on sort of the chest area there. You've got all the clasps and the button, the clasp sections and so on there. Worth mentioning at this point as well, actually, I haven't opened this up, but you do get this little bag with some spares in. And looking closely at this bag, what these are spares for, you get one spare for these clasps here, and I think there's one of those around the back as well, yeah, in case you lose one of those. And also what look like a couple of replacements for the flashes on the wrist section as well, in case they come off. But the jacket itself has got these inserts at the wrists, underneath the arms, and down the front there. Similar material, but this time it's the stitching is a different colour. It's this off-white colour, which is reflected in the collar and in the lining as well, this man-made fibre lining, and it just feels super high quality. It really does. It feels excellent in the hand. That ribbed stitch work within that high collar there, really nicely done. You've got the insignia on the left shoulder area, those pads on the elbows, and that stitching in the wrist area, absolutely superb. I think this is wonderful. I think this is really, really fantastic to see the love and attention to detail that's gone into this, and that's continued around the back as well. Functioning zip on the front there, but we'll demonstrate that when we go for the two different looks. So yeah, super impressed with that. That looks fantastic. So that's the jacket, and finally you get the EXO-6 base. Now this is not the standard EXO-6 base that we've come to know and love. This is a slightly different one. This has been designed specifically for the EXO-6 Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan line, and it's meant to replicate the transporter pad of the Enterprise itself. So it's been done slightly differently. Normally, and regulars to the channel will have spotted this, and those who collect EXO-6 figures will know that this top section normally lifts off. You have a slide out section underneath, and you have two replacement sort of filters almost that you can pop in there. One for an individual transporter pad, or one for a slightly larger one if you're wanting to hook this up. It gives it more weight. This section on the top here is actually feels like plastic or some form of acrylic that's actually been attached to the top, and underneath you've got this hexagonal pattern which we don't normally see in EXO-6 bases. I like this a lot. I think this is a big improvement on the earlier EXO-6 bases, simply because the vast majority of the base, in fact all of the base, was covered with this clear plastic and didn't have this section in the centre, so it was prone to scratching because it's super high gloss obviously. But with this section in the centre, that might add some added protection and some added realism as well. Also comes complete with, I'm not opening these, comes complete with the usual bag of clips and so on. So if you're wanting to attach this base to another EXO-6 base to display your figures together, you can do that. Simply butt the hexagonal bases up against each other and clip them on, and you can go off at all kinds of jaunty angles depending on how you want to have the look in your display. So yeah, complete with clips as well. Also, you get a waist grabber. Now this is unusual for EXO-6 as well, because normally we're looking at a crotch grabber, but they've gone for a waist grabber on this one. It's the usual story with this slot at the back there. You simply find the corresponding slot at the back of the base, and pop it in and it'll simply clip in there, and then you can adjust that waist grabber to the height you want. I am assuming they've gone with waist grabber here simply because of the nature of the outfit and the way this jacket fits when it's on. I would imagine it could cause some issues, but we'll see how it works out. We'll see how the whole thing works out. So that's the stand, that's the base and all the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out Lieutenant Saavik, get her onto this stand, get her onto the turntable, have an up-close look at her. Okay folks, so here she is. It's Kirstie Alley, aka Lieutenant Saavik, straight out of the box, straight onto the stand and turntable, and first impressions. I've got to say, first impressions are very, very good indeed. The scale looks on point, proportions look really, really good. That outfit looks immaculate and really, really screen accurate. The head sculpt we'll get to, because I had some reservations about that, but we'll cover that when we get to it. Let's stop her from spinning, as we always do, and start at the bottom and work our way up. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice straight away I am not using the waist grabber that EXO-6 gave us with this particular figure. I've got a freestanding. She seems relatively stable, even though her feet are quite small. The reason for that is I just think this thing throws it off. When you've got this around the waist, it just, I don't know, it destroys the lines for me, and it takes away from the realism, and it just, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. This, and as regulars to the channel will know as well, I'm wherever possible I try and display my figures in the collection freestanding, or with some other solution than ugly waist grabbers. They're not for me, but yeah, she seems quite stable as I mentioned. But let's have a close-up look at her. Let's get her off the stand and turntable. Start at the bottom with the boots, all one piece of sculpted plastic. These, nothing too fancy going on here, but the boots themselves in the film weren't that fancy. The sculpting's pretty good. You've got stitch work in the side there, there's creasing on the front, the paint applications look good, those stacked heels look about right, and overall, yeah, the boots themselves look pretty good. I believe they are pegged directly into the bottom of the legs there, so let's check the articulation while we're here. Yeah, and you've got a good range of motion going on here. There's a sideways tilt forward and backward. Overall, that peg looks like it's slightly out of whack and probably needs straightening up a little bit, but yeah, overall the movement looks pretty good and the boots look pretty good as well. So that's the boots. Oh, and we've got a sculpted in zip there at the side as well, which is nice to see. Let's take a look at these pants now. The fall of these pants straight away looks on point to me. It's that tight at the top there and then flaring out towards the feet themselves, and then that sort of almost balloon tucked in look at the end there. And overall, yeah, that looks screen accurate and on point to me. Straight away, what struck me as well with this figure, apart from the fact that it's got a little bit of heft to it, it's not the heaviest figure in the world, but it's got some weight to it, and it feels like a quality body. The first thing that struck me was the materials once again, and I know I'm banging on about this, I mentioned it when we were looking at the jacket, but the materials on the EXO-6 shoes always feel super high quality, and this is no exception. These pants feel absolutely gorgeous. The weave in there, and you can tell straight away from the look and the feel that you're dealing with a high quality material here. Not quite sure what it is. It feels like almost like a brushed thick cotton, but it looks fantastic and it looks screen accurate. And as you can see there's that flash running down the side there. Stitch work is immaculate. You've got the red stripe that runs down as well, which is once again completely screen accurate. Yeah, and just the fit, the finish, the fall, and the quality of materials that have been used here and what we've come to expect from EXO-6. Let's check the articulation in the knees while we're here. Yeah, there's a decent amount of movement. I'm not going to push these knees too far because it's not one for vastly dynamic posing, and I don't want to risk any issues with this stripe, because this stripe feels like it's a vinyl that may have been stuck on over the top, so I don't want to risk that coming loose. But yeah, looks like you've got a decent bend there at the knee, so you can get that knee quite a decent distance back, and at the top there you've got a decent range of motion where the top of the leg meets the body as well. Let's check the waist while we're here. Yeah, a bit limited there. It's quite stiff, so not much of an ab crunch and a little bit of twist going on. So Waist articulation a little limited, but as I mentioned there, this isn't one for hugely dynamic posing anyway, but well, we'll check the arms while we're here as well, actually. Yeah, we've got a butterfly joint at the shoulder there. Yeah, there's a butterfly joint going on, and the arms themselves will, yeah, it looks like they'll come right the way up to the face, so yeah, you've got the full range of motion in the arms there. Always a little bit cautious about putting these in too dynamic a pose, simply because these these materials they've used are so beautiful, and I wouldn't want to damage them. But the tunic itself, let's take a look at this tunic now. It's that monster maroon that we were talking about, and once again, stitch work looks absolutely superb here. The quality of the material is the same. It's the same quality of material as the pants, but what we're looking at here is that it's doubled over, which gives it a more hefty feel and look to it. It actually feels like there is a magnet at the bottom of this jacket. I'm not sure whether there is or not. Yeah, it looks like there is a magnet. Yeah, I'm seeing something there that it looks and feels like there's a magnet going on. So that's great to see. That actually just clips back down, because to go for the away team jacket, you need to remove this tunic. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of how you do that. We will look at it with the away team jacket on, but there is a video that EXO-6 produced explaining how to do this, and I am shaking in my old man boots at this point, having watched the video, just how I won't say it's a complicated process, but it looks super delicate. It involves removing this belt buckle, the belt itself, then removing this strap at the top. Then there are a vast number of snaps underneath this tunic section which need to come off. The jacket itself doesn't unzip all the way down, so you've got to go in feet first. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you're wanting to see the whole process, check out the EXO-6 video. But yeah, as I said, not something I'm looking forward to doing between takes, but we've got to do it, so I will grit teeth and jump in. But the tunic itself looks really, really good. That belt, now I'm not sure what that belt is. It feels like it's a hard sort of plastic. It doesn't feel like it's pleather or anything like that, which is great to see. You've got that insignia in there, the Starfleet insignia with that sort of goldy brass colour, which is removable. As I say, that just pops off. Yeah, around the back of the jacket, yeah, the tunic rather, yeah, just really, really well done. That piping, that black piping, really nicely done. Stitch work impeccable. Proportions on point. The flash on the left wrist there is actually sewn in. That's some material by the looks of it. It's actually been sewn into the jacket. Lesser companies would have just stuck that on with a bit of glue and hope for the best, but not EXO-6. You've got those two flashes there on the wrist as well that we mentioned. These are the two other hands, the open palm pair hands, and yeah, same level of sculpt and paint application going on there. And good to see no discoloration on those hands either. Moving up to the top of this figure. Oh, did I mention, yes, it's doubled underneath. You can see that snap actually under there as well, and that's one of many, as I say, that runs around. But let's get up close and move up to the head sculpt and the shoulder area. You've got the Starfleet insignia, which feels like it's made out of plastic, and it's got that brass gold colour on there, really nicely sculpted. The strap over the shoulder, very nicely done. Now that feels, now it's difficult to say what that actually is. Is that plastic coated with a material? It feels like it's probably it feels like it's a material that's been coated in plastic, but it's got that red section in the center, gold, and you've got that stud at the back there where it attaches. It actually detaches from this part at the front here. You can, a little bit of glue showing underneath there, but it's not a deal breaker. And then you've got the red, the slightly brighter red sort of shirt going on underneath there as well, which looks really, really well stitched. We'll probably get a closer look at that when we put the jacket on onto the head sculpt. Now, I'm going to say from the get-go here, I was a little bit dubious about this head sculpt when I saw it in the original promotional photos and when the prototypes came out. In the same way as I was a little bit dubious about the McCoy head sculpt that we looked at recently, the TMP head sculpt, and it's doing the same thing that TMP head sculpt did. I'll try and get this as close in as I possibly can. It looks better in hand than it does in front of a camera, I've got to say. I thought there was something off. I thought it looked a little doll-like. I thought there was something wrong with the features, but in hand, it isn't. I can't see it, if that makes sense. But let's talk about the detailing. The skin tones themselves are really nice. Not much by the way of texturing needed here, crow's feet or lines or anything like that, or distinguishing marks, simply because Kirstie Alley was quite young when she made Star Trek 2. So skin tones really are relatively straightforward, but they have been done well. There are some subtle changes there. There's a slight reddening to the cheeks, but not too much. The lips are really well done with that deep red lipstick. The eyes are really, really glassy. Now, I can't help when I get close to this that these eyes look ever so slightly odd. Now, if the camera is catching this, one eye looks like it's looking straight forward and one eye looks like it's slightly larger. Now, I think they've done the eyes this way, and I am no expert on Kirstie Alley's face, but I think they've done it this way to give her that distinctive look. But from some angles, when you get close to it, it looks like the eyes are actually from a different figure. Somehow it works, though. I don't know. For some strange reason, it works. Those eyebrows are really nicely done. The hair itself, the style is absolutely on point with that bun and braid at the back there, and we'll just flip around so you can see this. Yeah, you've got that sort of lifted up section with the length of the hair where it's been braided and bunned on the top. Individual strands have been picked out. The colour is right, almost jet black there, with just some very, very subtle hints in the paint applications of browns. And overall, yeah, I think this is a cracking head sculpt. For some reason, my eyes tell me it shouldn't work, but it does. Let's check the articulation on this head. Fixed neck, this one. So you've got a full range of motion going on here, forward and backward, side to side. Yeah, and yeah, it's all there. So let's pop her back on this stand. I think what we need to do next is actually, and I've been putting this off, so we're going to cut because I need to battle with the jacket and the tunic. Okay folks, so jacket swapped out, and I've got to say it was nowhere near as problematic as I thought it was going to be. Difficult, no. Delicate, yes. So I would say if you are picking this figure up, refer to the EXO-6 instructional video on how to swap that jacket out. But once it's done, I think the figure looks absolutely stunning. This is the way I'm going to be displaying it in my collection. I do like the Kobayashi Maru look. I think that's great, but this for me is far more iconic. And as you can see, the way it falls and the way it fits is absolutely on point. We've wheeled out Colin R. Spock as well to give you some idea of the scale here and the proportions. Obviously, Leonard Nimoy, taller chap, stockier, and that's reflected in the size differences here. So proportionally, absolutely nailed on here. But I suppose it's time for a final verdict on EXO-6's take on Saavik. So, well, let's start with the good stuff. Accessories, absolutely on point as we've come to expect. The body for the Saavik figure is excellent as well, very, very good. Articulation is excellent, even though a lot of it I am not going to be using. The clothing, as always with EXO-6, is exemplary. It really is. From the quality of the materials that they've used, to the screen accuracy, to the stitch work, the colouring, the detailing on this coat. I mean, I'll just flip around so you can get an idea. You'll see more in the showcase, but it needs a little bit of futzing at the back here because it's not falling just right. But yeah, you're going to have to take some time just futzing around with this once you've got this coat on, just to get it to fall properly. But overall, yeah, the stitch work, and as I say, the attention to detail and screen accuracy is superb from EXO-6. I think this is a stunning piece of work from them. Everything's there. I would say if I had one niggle, it's that head sculpt. Now, what's a perfect head sculpt? How often do we see a perfect head sculpt? Exceptionally rarely. And I would say no, it's not perfect. And there's just still occasionally from the odd angle when I catch that head sculpt, it feels like there's something odd about it. However, I mean, down to the paint applications, the sculpt itself, the beautifully glassy eyes, the one earring, the ears are done beautifully. Overall, it's a phenomenal piece of work, yet again from EXO-6. Can't give it a 10 just because of that occasional angle where I catch it from, where it looks goofy. It's a similar thing to the Colin R. Spock. I think this is a fantastic figure as well, but there are certain angles when you come at this figure. To me, he looks a little bit cross-eyed if you catch him at the wrong angle, and to me the eyes on this sometimes look a little bit odd from a certain angle. So I'm going to go with let's go with a 9. A 9 to a 9.5 on a good day, a 9 on every other day. So there you have it, folks. It is a 9 for EXO-6's take on Lieutenant Saavik from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. And yet again, EXO-6 belted out of the park and into another ball field completely. What are your thoughts on this figure? Do you have it in the collection? What are your thoughts on EXO-6? What are your thoughts on Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan? What are your thoughts on Star Trek? What are your thoughts on anything at all? Please drop a comment in the comment section below. Nothing is off menu, and I'd be really happy to hear from you. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, there's more reviews of EXO-6 figures, plenty more of those coming in. We've got reviews of other companies' stuff. We've got Hot Toys, we've got In Art, we've got Susu Toys, Present Toys, Iconic Studios, Caustic Plastic, the list goes on. We've got quarter scale statues, we've got retro reviews, we've got more episodes of Grail or Fail. Yeah, just bags of stuff coming up. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is, from EXO-6's take on Saavik and EXO-6's take on Spock and myself, take care of yourselves, and until next time on the channel, as always, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.